Yacht restoration in itself is a fairly new phenomenon, considering how long people have been on the water in wooden boats, centuries, obviously. Boats weren't considered something that was supposed to last for 100 years. They weren't built to last 100 years. Boats were for work. The whole concept of boats was transportation and working. The Beetle Cats that we restore here at the school are a classic example of a pleasure boat that evolved out of a true work boat, the classic New England cat boat.
It's really cool to start with this dilapidated boat, and at the end of the year you've rebuilt it with one other person and you get to go for a sail, and to see that entire process is amazing. One of the coolest things about wooden boats is kind of from the moment that it's built, it's kind of dying. Wood is a very organic thing, obviously. So yes, we're restoring something that from the past, but it's kind of this constant process of recreating something as something new, and to be able to do that and do it well is a really cool thing.
You know, there are a lot of rules of thumb and hard and fast ways of doing things, but you know, the classic and never-ending refrain around here is, if you ask 10 boat builders how to do something, you'll get 10 different answers. There are absolutely certain parameters that things have to be done within, but how you get to those end results a lot of times can vary wildly. For someone who's never had to really have a real clear concept in their mind of what fairness means to us in the boat world. Things that are not just smooth, but they're actually fair lines that are not just not ugly, but pleasing. The difference between a really beautiful line on a boat and just an average one is something that not everybody can pick up on, and you really have to train yourself. The concept of fairness and sweet lines, as referred to quite often, is something that some people get right off the bat and others really have to work at, because it's something that sometimes takes a lot of self-training to understand where something is just right and where it's not. This is a whole way of life and a whole art form that needs to be kept alive and preserved.
Funny becoming the next generation of boat builder, because so many of these places, they're like these little honey holes of places that still have traditional boat building, and a lot of the times you're either being taught by kind of this person who's clung on to this small group, this identity, and a lot of times you're relearning things that people used to know in the past and have kind of forgotten. I've run into that a bunch of times, where you have to kind of go back to books and kind of ask that old guy at the yard, and sometimes it's this experimentation to figure out how people used to do things, because people don't do this that much anymore. You have this really cool old object that has a lot of history, and to be able to take that thing that's in really bad shape and totally rebuild it, you can kind of keep the essence of that thing that was originally there. There are these little pockets of people out there who really appreciate that, and there's still craftsmen around who are really excited about doing projects like that. You're not just chucking something because it's got some rot. You're replacing a plank or redoing a stem of a boat, and I think there's a lot of value in that. I think that's something that is really cool, still exists today, that both there's people that value that as far as a commodity goes, and there's people that still have skill enough to do that.